Objective physical geology, multiple choice questions with answers. These are the collection from various previous years question papers, and I hope these are useful for various competitive exams like CSIR, NetGate, GSI and other exams. Welcome to set 18. Coming to the first question. The broad stratified nearly level areas formed by runoff of a continental glacier are called A. Drumlin, B. Kames, C. Terminal moraine, D. Outwash plain. Broad stratified nearly level areas which are formed by runoff of a continental glacier are known as a terminal moraine. A terminal or end moraine, it consists of a ridge-like accumulation of glacial debris which is pushed forward by the leading glacial snout and which is dumped at the outermost edge of any given ice advance. So it curves convexly down the valley and it may extend up the sides as a lateral moraine. So C, terminal moraine is the correct option. Next question. A continental shelf is A coastal plain above water, B an outcropping of rocks, C plateau, D land under water. So a continental shelf is a land under water. D is the correct option. So a continental shelf is a portion of a continent that is submerged under an area of relatively shallow water known as a shelf area. Next question. Large rocks that have been carried a long way by glaciers and then deposited are called A. Kames, B. Drumlins, C. Erratic, D. Sheep rocks. So large rocks that have been carried a long way by the glaciers and then deposited are called as erratics. So a glacial erratic is a glacially deposited rock differing from the type of the rock which is native to the area in which it rests. So large rocks that have been carried a long way by the glaciers and which are deposited later are known as erratics. C is the correct option. Next question. Ground moraine is deposited by A. glaciers, B. moraine, C. water, D. wind. So ground moraine is deposited by a glacier. So moraines are the landforms which are composed of the glacial till which is deposited primarily by glacial ice. And glacial till in turn it is a unstratified and unsorted debris ranging in size from the silt to boulder. So A. glaciers is the correct option. Next question. A lacustrine plain is, options are A. floodplain, B. a coastal plain, C. a lake plain, D. a river plain. A lacustrine plain is a lake plain. Lacustrine plain or lake plain, it is a plain formed due to the past existence of a lake and it's accompanying the sediment accumulation. Lacustrine plains, they can be formed through one of the three major mechanisms like glacial drainage, differential uplift, and an inland lake creation and drainage. So a lacustrine plain is a lake plain. C is the correct option. Next question. The cause of crevasses in glaciers is chiefly A. difference in temperature, B. frost action, C. unequal pressure, and D. none of the above. So the causes of the crevasses in glaciers is chiefly unequal pressure or unequal stress. So here a crevasse is a crack line in the surface of a glacier which is caused by the extensive stresses within the ice. So for example, extensive stress, it can be caused by stretching if the glacier is speeding up as it flows down the valley, and crevasses, it can also be caused by the ice flowing over bumps or steps in the bedrock. So C, unequal pressure is the correct option. Next question. A glacier is principally A. frozen underground water, and B. large quantity of sleet, C. perched snow, and D. a river frozen solid. A glacier is principally a perched snow. A glacier is a large perennial accumulation of the crystalline ice, snow, rock, sediment, and often liquid water that originates on land and moves down the slope. And a mass of unstable snow perched on a mountain side is like a loaded gun and it awaits only the triggering action and to set it off. So a glacier is principally perched snow. C is the correct option. Next question. A feature which is found on a shoreline of emergency is A. fjord, B. shallow water, C. deep water, D. marine estuaries. A feature found on the shoreline of emergency is shallow water. This is a feature characteristic of an emergent coastline is a stretch along the coast that has been exposed by the sea by relatively fall in the sea level by either isostasy or eustasy. So B, shallow water is the correct option. Next question. A feature characteristic of submerged shoreline is A, lagoons, B, sandy beaches, C, drowned bays, D, offshore bars. A feature characteristic of submerged shoreline is, these are nothing but the drowned bays. A feature characteristic of submerged shoreline is nothing but the drowned valleys course, and these are also known as estuaries. So estuaries are confined bodies of water that occupy the drowned valleys of rivers that are not currently building open coast deltas. So the feature which is characteristic of submerged shoreline is drowned bays. Next question. A drowned river valley caused by the sinking of the land near a coast is called A, promontory, B, headland, C, peninsula, D, estuary. A drowned river valley caused by the sinking of the land near a coast is called as a estuary. An estuary is a partially enclosed coastal water body where fresh water from the rivers and the stream mixes with the salt water from the ocean. And estuaries and their surrounding lands are places of transition from land to sea. As glaciers receded and melted, sea levels rose and inundated low-lying river valleys, and coastal plain estuaries are also called as the drowned river valleys. So D is the correct option. Next question. A portion of the sea set off from the ocean by a barrier beach is called a bay, B, jetty, C, lagoon, D, fjord. A portion of the sea which is set off from the ocean by a barrier beach is known as a lagoon. A lagoon is a shallow body of water that is protected from the large body of water, usually the ocean, by sandbars or barrier islands or coral reefs. And these lagoons are often called as estuaries and bays or even lakes. So coastal lagoons, these are sheltered by sandbars or barrier islands. These are also called as a coastal lagoons. A portion of the sea set off from the ocean by a barrier beach is known as a lagoon. C is the correct option. Next question. Ring-shaped coral islands are called A, atolls, B, fringing reefs, C, offshore bars, D, spits. Ring-shaped coral islands are called as an atolls. An atoll is a ring-shaped island including a coral rim that encircles a lagoon. They may be coral islands or cays on the rim. So ring-shaped coral islands are called as A, atolls. Next question. Which is produced chiefly by deposition? A, bay, B, sea arch, C, sea cliff, D, spit. So the correct option is spit. Spit is produced chiefly by the deposition. The spit coastal feature or the spit geographically it is largely formed by the deposition of sediments like the sand by huge water bodies such as oceans or seas, and it is usually a sand pit, a type of the deposition bar forming a part of the beach landform of the coast or the shores of the lakes. So spit is the correct answer. Next question. Curved spits are known as A, barrier beaches, B, hooks, C, atolls, D, stacks. Curved spits are known as hooks. So these are nothing but spits which may be composed of a sand or shingle. They are formed by longshore movement of sediments. They often are complexly curved with a characteristic recurved head. This is also known as a hook, and this probably results from the refractions of the waves around the spit's end. So curved spits are known as hooks. B is the correct option. Next question. A mound of the sand deposited by waves parallel to a shoreline but not attached to it is known as A, atoll, B, fringing reef, C, offshore bar, and D, breaker. The correct option is C, offshore bar. Next question. Atolls are built up as a result of action of marine animals known as A, sponges, B, corals, C, oysters, D, fish. So atolls are built up as a result of the action of the marine animals. These are known as the corals. Corals are the invertebrate animals belonging to a large group of colorful and fascinating animals. These are also called as a cnidaria. Next question. Drowned U-shaped glacial valleys are called A, bays, B, fjords, C, spits, D, lagoons. So drowned U-shaped glacial valleys are called as fjords. Fjords are found along some steep, high relief coastlines where continental glaciers are formed, which are formerly flowed into the sea, and they are deep and they are narrow valleys with U-shaped cross sections that often extend inlands for tens or hundreds of kilometers and are now partially drowned by the ocean. So drowned U-shaped glacial valleys are called as fjords. B is the correct option. Next question. Seismographs are used in the study. Very simple question. A. Floods. B. Cyclones. C. Earthquakes. D. Tides. So seismographs are used to study the earthquakes. C is the correct option. Next question. Anticlines are A. Faulted blocks. B. Downfolded rock structures. C. Uplifted plains. And D. Upfolded rock structures. Anticlines are upfolded rock structures. So these are upfolds in the layered rocks. They are usually long, high wrinkles in the rocks that may extend for hundreds of kilometers, but normally they are miles or tens of miles long, and they may have numerous prominences. So anticlines are upfolded rock structures. Next question. The surface along which rocks are displaced is the A. Crevasse, B. Fissure, C. Fault plane, and D. Scrap. So, as the surface along which rocks are displaced is known as a fault plane. A fault plane is the plane that represents the fracture surface of a fault, and a fault trace or fault line is a place where the fault can be seen or mapped on the surface. A fault trace is also the line commonly plotted on geological maps to represent a fault, and a fault zone is a cluster of the parallel faults. The surface along which the rocks are displaced is known as a fault plane. Hope you have enjoyed the questions, and hope you have got some stuff from this set, and see you in the next video. Hope you can explore to geosciences. Thank you.